and I'm back for episode 3 of the Utterly Random Podcast, doing something a little different today. And moving forward, I'm going to try to have some guests on. Sometimes it's just boring sitting there talking to a microphone by yourself for 15 minutes about stuff that nobody wants to hear about, anyways. And so, moving along from my political views, which I won't bring up today. I promise my guest. He's not a very big politic guy. He doesn't want to play politics, but he loves music. He's in a hardcore band here in Youngstown, Ohio. What's the name of your band?
Whoregami.
Whoregami. This is Evan V of Whoregami, guitarist. And how long you been playing guitar for, my man?
Give or take about 15 to 17 years or so.
And your dad was a guitarist, or is a guitarist?
Yes.
So you were born in around music from early on in your years here.
Yeah.
What made you decide, you know what, the guitar is going to be an instrument? Was your dad influence, or was it just, some kids like take the opposite route of what their parents do?
Right, yeah. Now I knew my father was a guitar player. He was a singer too, He still plays out there doing covers and all that. But I was like, me as a kid at like 3-4 years old, I would always rock out to AC/DC and Aerosmith. So I was like, that's fun, whatever. I was like, man, I want to get a guitar. So I got a little kid guitar I would play around with. And then when I was probably 10 years old, I got serious with it. I was like, I'm going to sit down. I want to learn this thing, learn the chords.
And that's when you start learning the chords. Yeah. And were you self-taught? Your dad help you out, take lessons?
I never took any lessons, but I had a DVD that I would watch. It would show me like chords, it would show me where to place my fingers at and what the chords would sound like. But that was about it. It was all trial and error. Now, when I was learning early on, my father did teach me this song called Rumble by Link Ray. Came out in, I believe, 56. It was like the heaviest thing at that time. It was only 3 chords. I was like, this is so easy, but it is so heavy. I love it.
Going back to, so you said the 3 chords, which is kind of funny as I watched the movie, The Buddy Holly Story. I think that's what maybe the movie was called. The Day the Music Died, Buddy Holly, The Big Bopper, and Richie Valens.
Yes.
Yeah. And Cornfield, I believe, in Iowa. If you actually go there, they have a huge like pair of Buddy Holly glasses. It's kind of like that takes you on the trail to where the plane crashed. But during that movie, if I recall, he's with the neighborhood kids and stuff like that. And I think he pretty much says all you need to know is like 3 chords and you can make songs.
Yeah. As long as you have heart and soul and melody, you could pretty much make anything out of nothing.
What was the first 3 chords you taught yourself? I know it wasn't the F chord.
No.
They call it the F chord for a reason.
It was one of the last ones, last major chords.
Because when you start learning that, you say, fuck this.
Yep.
And that's why they call it the F chord. So early on, you pick up the guitar, you start getting serious with it around age 10. Before that, you said you had a kid guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So what was your first real guitar?
I believe my first full-size, halfway decent guitar was this Epiphone Les Paul. I still have it.
Was it electric guitar or an original guitar?
Electric guitar. Yeah.
Electric guitar. Do you have any acoustic guitars in your lot of guitars? How many guitars do you have? Let's just get down to that right now.
Way too many to count. It's playable guitars, probably 30 plus, but parts guitars included, maybe like 45 to 50.
So do you have a slight problem?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the one I got sitting right over there, I just bought that a few months ago, and after I told myself I'm done buying guitars.
Yeah, it's a beautiful guitar.
Yeah, that thing's sweet.
It's pretty wild. You talk about parts and stuff like that, and if you ever read about Eddie Van Halen and what was this Frankenstein guitar or whatever he put, it's pretty wild. He pretty much. I'm not sure what kind of guitar was it. Do you know?
It was like some Kramer. It was like a Strat knockoff, kind of thing. It's a Stratocaster style, but he hacked up the body.
Yeah,
nothing's original to it. Like the my Gibson SG over there's nothing original to it. It's its own beast.
My understanding is he didn't really use pedals too much or whatever. The sound he was able to get out of that guitar that he built. I'm sure at some point he obviously had
some delay and flanger and chorus, but nothing crazy.
There's so much that goes into it. So you guys play a lot of local shows, and a lot of the concerts you do, I notice you usually have a couple bands on the bill.
Right.
Is there like the places you play? Do they have like house amps, like house systems? Do you guys bring your own stuff? Do you guys share stuff sometimes? Maybe get in collusion with the bands. You got so many bands going on. Say, hey, you can plug into our equipment. Like, how's that work on these local house type shows?
I mean, it works pretty much exactly what you just asked right there. I mean, you can typically, if you have your own equipment, you're just gonna let the band tear down, and then you go up there and then
Yeah.
hook it up to what you're familiar with. But I mean, you could definitely backline other people's equipment. If they're cool with, they're like, hey, can I use your amp for this, or can I use your drum kit for this, whatever. They're usually cool with it, but especially like in heavy metal music or hardcore or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever we are, I don't.
It's almost like a brotherhood.
Yeah. We're like, but also you just go up there and plug in. Hey, you guys ready? Go. It's just bam, bam, get the hell out of there as quick as possible. It's very, very fast paced.
Yeah, so you don't have anybody lugging your equipment for you? No roadies yet?
No.
It's pretty wild. I mean, we talk about this because we actually, there's a pretty big age discrepancy between us. I mean, when it comes to the music industry.
Yeah. I was gonna say these are city miles, so we're kind of knocking on the same door over here.
Because when I grew up, and I'm old enough to remember when bands toured to support an album, and the album drove the sales of what they're gonna make money. A lot of times I believe back in the day it was the big thing is we want to get signed.
Right.
Bands would get together, say, hey, we're gonna start a band, hey, this guy's in this band, jump over to this band. A lot of guys would be in multiple bands at one time. You meet people in the industry, and because when I listen to a lot of podcasts about bands and stuff like that, it's always like not poaching or whatever, but you go just like how you do. They play at the same clubs together, and you maybe vibe better with these bands.
Right.
And next thing you know, you join that band. But back then, the big thing is get signed. Play clubs, play showcases. If there started to be a little bit buzz about you, they would come out and see you play and scout you or whatever, and or possibly save up enough money to record a demo and get that out. And now you can fucking do that shit on your own at home. Get your stuff uploaded to what would be the Spotify or whatever it is that people upload to, and you really don't need the record label anymore. But also, money's not really being made anymore off of record sales, or I heard you make jack shit on streaming.
Yeah, you don't make anything off of that.
And so pretty much now bands are just touring now to stay afloat and to put money in their pocket and to be able to live a life doing what they love to do as a musician. And when I go to see I know you're more in a heavy scene. I talk about, I'm more into the 90s alternative rock. When I go to see Toad the Wet Sprocket, they had a band open up called Vertical Rise, and they had a huge hit in the late 90s.
I remember them.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, Evan, they play loud. They're one of the loudest bands I've ever heard. Towards the end of their set, when they opened for Toad, they held up a T-shirt they threw into the crowd. It's his crowd interaction. And it's his chance to say, hey, we have merch out there. What you do when you buy a T-shirt from us is you're keeping the bus gassed up, and you're keeping this tour going. It
still works the exact same way today. All you have to do is, really what we look for. Like, I'm not out for anything. I'm just out there to have a good time and have a good time with other people, who come out to see our shows.
So it's not sex, drugs, rock and roll.
No, well, two of them, with pretty much every member, but pick or choose. But no, when you actually go out there and play shows, or you go out to shows, go check out the merch table, because that is the only thing that actually financially helps the band. Like, they're not going to make money on tour, so you're not expected to make money on tour.
Yeah.
You plan on doing, say, an East Coast tour or whatever, it doesn't matter. Any kind of tour, expect to lose the money. But knowing that you have a T-shirt floating around in, say, in the middle of nowhere, Utah, or in New York, knowing that next time you come back, that person is going to be there and bring friends along.
Yeah.
It's all about that kind of community and reuniting with those people you haven't seen since the last time you came through town. So that's what it's about, at least to me, and the majority of musicians that I've met from all around the world. I've met them literally doing the same thing from anywhere from Italy to France to Russia to Japan. I met bands from all different places of the world, and they all have the same kind of. And when they come back, they look so forward to seeing me again, and I look very forward to seeing them as well. That it just becomes like a reunion, you know.
Yeah.
It's just, hey, thank you for coming out and supporting us, So that's honestly what it's all about right there, at least in my eyes. It's just reaching out to people from all over the world, and
the music industry is wild. I mean, and so obviously, so what you're saying is a lot of these bands that on the hardcore scene that you meet, they're not in it to get rich. Like they're when you
underground scene, more
exactly
like all genres.
When you think of music, it's like boxing. When I was a kid, Sugar Ray Leonard was the shit. Mike Tyson, and you'd see them on these pay-per-views, and you knew they were rich. Mike Tyson lived 30 minutes up the street from us,
right,
and had that huge mansion, and everybody knew he was. He was probably the biggest athlete on the planet at that time. And I remember watching USA Tuesday Night Fights when I was a kid, and I'm all like, they're talking about these boxers. They're talking about their day jobs. Like, fucking day job? You're a pro boxer. At that stage of your life, you're thinking every boxer's making Mike Tyson money. And then as you get older, you find out that pretty much 90% of the money is controlled by 3% of the fighters.
Yeah.
Guys.
Kind of works the same way over here, too, yeah.
I actually know a guy, and I'll eventually probably have him on one of my podcasts. He's actually paid out of pocket to bring an opponent into town for him to fight him. He paid the opponent to come. So there's a good chance, I'm sure Danny made money back on the ticket sales or whatever, but Danny wasn't fighting for the money. He was fighting because he likes to box. I mean, he does well in life. He's retired. I just messaged him the other day, and I said, any chance of itching to come out retirement? He said he flirted with it, but he said he has a family now. He's got his own company, and he said, the one thing I'm walking out of this with is I still got my mind and I still got my health. He never started boxing as we talked about, to get rich, and so it sounds like a lot of these bands that you realize, hey, you know what? As long as we could just maybe even break even touring.
Yeah,
it's a win.
That is a win. Yeah,
if
you can break even by touring. I've never been on a tour or anything, but I know I've met literally hundreds of bands on tour, and they all have the same story. What we just talked about. It's literally about just reuniting and meeting new people and having a good time and hoping that you make a few sales here and there, whatever. But knowing that if I buy like this T-shirt right now, Ominous, they're from Detroit. Not far, 3 hours from here.
Yeah.
But knowing that I bought this shirt, I got them back home. It's just cool to think of. And that's why I love it.
Do bands still sell CDs at their merch tables?
They do. But vinyl is...
But how much does it cost to get vinyl pressed?
I don't know how much it costs to get them pressed, but it's more expensive.
Vinyl is the number one selling musical platform now, but I'm telling
physically, it has to be now.
But I'm telling you what, I think CDs are going to make a comeback.
I mean, people are still doing them.
Yeah.
I mean, you could buy a CD at a merch table for $5 or a vinyl for $25-$30. But more people are buying vinyl records either way. They see that the CD is right here.
Right.
$5. Like, yeah, it's cool. It's cheap. I could throw it in my 98 Civic.
Right.
Or you got the vinyl record right here next to it, $25-$30. Same exact record. You love these guys, whatever. You're going to be like, man, I want that record because it's more physical, more intimate. You throw it on a record player. I don't know. At least to me, it feels more intimate than...
But at what point, you go upstairs at our house here. We're recording down in my downstairs area here. You go upstairs. We got that vinyl player. We got the thing with vinyls. And Evan, I'm like, I'm tired of paying $45 for a fucking vinyl.
Yeah, it makes sense.
And at what point is CDs going to make a comeback? Because I'm telling you what, nostalgia's in a little bit. I actually read an article not too long ago about how corded headphones are making a little bit of a comeback because kids see like Stranger Things and shit like that, and they kind of want to make that connection to pop culture. Exactly. Yeah. So I truly think that there's possibly a comeback for CDs. I think everything goes in cycles eventually.
Everything does, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you look hard enough, it'll come back. Give it 10, 15, 20 years, something will come back.
So I think CDs is next. Listen,
cassettes already kind of a thing too, by the way. At merch tables.
Really, cassettes?
Yeah, cassette tapes.
You're fucking kidding me.
No, not joking. And most bands will hand them out for free.
You're not old.
They're not even asking for
Let me ask you this, with our age discrepancy. You probably never made a mixtape for a girl, did you?
Nope.
Did you ever make a mix CD for a girl?
Not in a romantic way, but as
A friendship way?
Yeah. I've
Like
made
say,
those.
hey, let me introduce you to some music here.
Yep.
I'll tell you what. There's a band called Semisonic. You familiar with them?
I
90s band.
I believe I remember.
Believe they're
you
from
telling me about
Minneapolis. They had a big song in the 90s, Closing Time.
it. Oh God.
You know that song.
Oh,
What's
God,
wrong with
yeah.
Closing Time?
Over.
So we're going to come back to that.
Oh boy.
We're going to come back to that.
All right.
The overplayed selling out. We're going to have that conversation.
Oh no.
I like how we're flowing here, though. I like how we're flowing here because we don't have a script here. We're raw dogging
No,
this.
yeah, we're raw dogging. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Drinking a Busch Light. We just had some modern methods. In fact, so what we'll do here is I can actually hit pause, and we're going to go refill our beers, and we'll come back, and I'm going to tell you about Semisonic.
All righty.
And we're refilled, and we're back. And so as I was talking about Semisonic, band out of Minneapolis, and we actually talked about this a little bit, and I played the song for Evan while we're on a little bit of a break. Everybody knows them for their hit song Push, but they had a song called Singing in My Sleep.
Matchbox 20, wrong band.
You know, I could have easily just hit pause and go through and edit, but we're just going to roll with it.
Just keep it going, man.
Because
keep the beers flowing, baby.
Well, this goes to what we talk, because we'll bring that up later about record labels pushing singles and how that works, you know, but so what was that? Closing Time was their hit.
Was their big hit, yeah, Semisonic.
So they had a song called Singing in My Sleep, and I just played it for you up there. I showed you the music video. And the one line was, now I'm falling in love too fast with you are the songs you chose. And the song is literally about making a mixtape for somebody. Mm-hmm. So the nostalgia, my daughter, chances are she's not going to know what it's like to have a mixtape made for you. No guys better get any ideas, but
hey, we're watching you.
Yeah, but I played that song for you, and that was your first time hearing it, correct?
Yeah. I've never heard that song before that I could remember.
But you put that song side by side with Closing Time. Which song do you think had more substance?
Not Closing Time. I don't get why that song
was a big hit.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't get it.
So that brings me back to Push, and you said you can understand why that song became the hit, and that was.
Oh yeah.
And I am 99% sure. I don't know if I have any fact checkers out there that are listening. The 3 people that are probably going to listen to this. I mean, you know what? We'll garner some listeners. My time's coming. But if I recall, I believe, and the song I just played for you was their first single that was released on their debut record label album. It was a song called Long Day, which is still possibly my favorite Matchbox 20 song. And it didn't put the band on the map like Push did, which was the second single released. But I played Long Day for you, and you said, I don't get how, you were pretty impressed with it.
Yeah, it has the potential for it. More potential than Closing Time, for sure. Still don't know how that song got so big.
What is the one band out there that just blows your mind that got huge? You don't want to answer?
Yeah, I plead the fifth.
Okay.
Take the fifth. I will tell you, they're from Cleveland, and they've been around for about 15 years.
Okay. Is it the band who sold out that we talk about?
Yeah.
Yeah, you said, so we're not going to put them on blast in case anything ever comes back on Evan.
I don't care. Hit me.
I mean, but...
They're not going to listen to this.
I mean... What is selling? So what is selling out? What is your definition of selling out?
Oh boy, here we go.
We talked about this earlier. Now you've had some 2.5 beers.
Yeah, I'm about 2 tall boys and whatever the hell Brian's been feeding me. But
Modern Methods, Warren, Ohio,
yeah. I mean,
Troop Barrymore, excellent beer.
Yeah, I'll drink whatever. Just feed me lighter fluid, I'll drink it. So. What I believe selling out is when you go away from what you believe your creative intentions are with music.
Okay.
If you have a voice in your head, you're supposed to put it out into music. If you're a musician, of course, or if you're in a band or whatever, do what you want to do. But I believe if you stray away from that sound that you have and you go into more of a mainstream or pop kind of realm with
top
music,
40.
Yeah, if you start doing that, you get rid of live drums and you start putting in canned sounds, which is like fake, just very digital rather than keeping that natural feel of the musician with their instruments. And you start adding auto-tune, whatever. I'm not saying that Trop does. I'm not saying Trop does auto-tune or anything like that, but I mean, incredible musicians. But I'm saying when you stray away from that sound that got you to where you were, and you go and you create music to sell rather than what you feel like is your music, I think that's selling out. If you stray from what is true to you in your craft.
Who would be considered the biggest band that a lot of people say sold out? I can't think of it. I mean, I don't know.
I know people
I see it thrown out. I've seen it thrown out a lot. The word selling out gets thrown out. It's almost like, if you end up on MTV, you sold out.
Right, yeah.
And so what? You're not supposed to try to make generational wealth like doing what you love? I mean,
yeah. I mean, like what I was doing before I joined like original music and started writing with other musicians or whatever. Yeah, I was in a cover band. Yeah, and I was making money. I wasn't happy with what I was playing, but I was at least grateful knowing, hey, I spent all that time learning this instrument. At least I'm making money off of it.
Yeah.
I'm creating memories with it. But me, myself, I wasn't happy with doing that. I'd rather be working with, I don't want to say real musicians, but musicians who actually wanted to play their own music and work with each other. Being in a band, an original band, is being in a relationship. So imagine if you have a girlfriend or wife, imagine having 5 of those in one band or 4, just having to work with each other, trying to create one sound that you all agree on. Maybe you don't agree on some things, maybe you agree on whatever, it doesn't matter. But you just work with each other on that. That is what it's like being in a band that you all enjoy. And each song, even if you hate it, you have a story with it.
Yeah.
And you are very happy and content with carrying on that story. Now, when you sell out, I know, loose term. Very loose term. But when you go into that way of like, hey, maybe if we do the same structure over and over again, we'll get a lot more likes and follows if we do it this way rather than our way. And I think that is the downfall of musicianship, and where you go into, say, like Imagine Dragons, for example, the biggest sellout band on earth.
There it is. I mean, didn't I just ask you this question 5 minutes ago?
Yeah, but in my heart of hearts, I love making fun of Nickelback, even though they're not a bad band.
No, it was honestly
it's just fun.
The other day I was driving in the car and the lady looked at me and she goes, "You're not going to turn off Nickelback?" And I finally just said, "You know what? They're not terrible.
They're not bad. They're not a bad band at all."
No,
I'm not gonna say
they became a meme.
Yeah.
It was the meme
they were the first meme.
That line, look at this photograph.
Yeah.
That fucked them.
Yeah.
That line fucked them. Deep down, and if somebody denies this, they're lying to you. Everybody has a Nickelback song they like. I like a song or two of theirs. I ain't gonna lie about it no more.
Yeah,
I'm done lying about it.
I do. I mean, what was that album with the 59 Cadillac on it? What was it? For All the Right Reasons or For All the Wrong Reasons? I can't remember. Banger album. I don't ever remember the album, but
they're talented musicians.
Yeah. I mean,
they are talented musicians.
I'm on the internet saying I admit I like some Nickelback.
I don't know why. In fact, what I love, they put out like a documentary, and I love their play on words, and I think it was called like Love to Hate Nickelback. Okay, or was it Hate to Love Nickelback? Whatever they did, they did like a play on words, you know what I mean? And I actually watched it, and I think it was watching that documentary, I gained like a lot of respect for them. They know guess what? We're making money. We're still selling albums. We're still selling out arenas.
But here's the thing. They didn't change their style. They didn't change their sound. See where I'm going at?
So Nickelback, so they never really totally sold out.
No,
their music was always top 40 friendly in a way.
Yeah, I mean, they had the same. I mean, who am I talking? I'm a nobody.
Yeah.
I'm a musician for fun. I don't have a top, whatever the hell. But for what I've listened to over the years, they have the formula. It's a typical intro, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, outro. Same thing. But when that chorus hits, you have to have that big hook. And that was them. But they had an edge to it. They were like, yeah, let's turn up a little bit louder.
Yeah.
Let's blow out Kid Rock at that time period. I mean, that's just what they did, just for fun, but it worked. It stuck. You throw shit at the wall, something's gonna stick over it. But where the hell was that going?
They're probably the biggest Canadian band to make it in America since Rush.
Rush, yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is a funny quote for you. Is there was a band from Canada called the Tragically Hip.
I heard of them.
And they're huge in Canada. They're royalty in Canada, but they never quite made it big in America. And I remember reading an article about them, and I think it was the drummer said being Canada's biggest band would be like being the world's tallest midget.
Oh yeah.
They just couldn't like quite break in the States. I know some people live at upstate, down to the Buffalo area. And they did kind of cross over into that area a little bit, being like so close to the border, and there's home stomping grounds. I'd imagine they probably played Buffalo a lot and whatnot.
Right.
But they never quite just grasped them. I like some of their stuff. If you were asking me, honestly, I'd say the biggest Canadian band of all time to make in America is probably Rush.
Yeah.
Not everybody's cup of tea. I like Rush.
I mean, somebody out there likes some sort of Rush, I don't think I know anybody who doesn't like one Rush song, I should say.
I would say possibly my favorite Canadian musician, and we lost him within the past couple of years, maybe the last year or two, Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh, he was Canadian?
He was Canadian.
Oh, well, damn.
And I always talk about how I believe he gave the Edmund Fitzgerald a better tribute than what the movie Titanic gave the Titanic.
Yeah.
Because you know what? I'm happy with that song being overly loud.
It's
or overly long.
song.
Overly long.
Yeah.
I mean, that song, you can say it's 5 minutes too long, but you also say the movie Titanic's 2 hours too long.
Yeah.
It took 30-some minutes to sing. That's all it needed to be.
Hell, half the music I listen to is like 20 minutes long per song. So I'm like, Edmund Fitzgerald, why is it not playing longer? But it is a beautifully written song. It really is. Like, lyrically, of course, but musically, like, for me, musically, it has to give you some feel. I don't care what it is. I don't know.
Some substance. The word I like to use is substance.
Yes.
And going back on substance, not to take us off the record here, which is going to happen now because of alcohol. You need some more beer?
Damn right.
So, 80s hair bands.
Here we go.
Well, there was that pour is going to come through real nice on the audio, too. I could hear that on the headset. That was sweet.
Oh, all right. Cool.
So, I remember like reading something that the singer of Def Leppard was like trying to get like into it with like Poison. Like he dissed Poison like in an interview. Even though there was like no hostility between the bands, but just trying to say like we're not a hair
Def
band,
Leppard, right?
Yeah. Like we're not like we're not a hair band. We're not all just like for glamour or whatnot. But I started thinking, I'm like, yeah, like Poison was a fun, style hair band, but that song's something to believe in. Like, you ever listen to that, read the words? That song's got substance to it. I mean, just pure substance. And I started thinking, some of Poison stuff was, I don't know, would be a term bubblegumish.
Yeah. Bubblegum pop, Rick Springfield when he started coming up, or Warrant Cherry Pie, like during that time period, everybody was like, hey, we're tired of this. We're like, okay, all this crazy hair. Let's just talk about, like, the reality of rock and roll. And that is where grunge started, actually. So, but anyway, go on.
Well, but I always say, I just said, like, that song's something to believe in. Talking about a veteran who lost a war on a foreign shore and coming back. And, I work with veterans at my job, and just, a lot of Vietnam vets and the stuff that they talk about, and they don't like talking about Vietnam and the stuff they saw. But so to me, that song like kind of gives me the grasp of reality that like some of these people like felt like they came home as losers and was treated as such. And it's terrible how Vietnam vets were treated. But to say that like a band like Poison is just nothing but bubblegum pop, like when I hear that song, I'm like, you know what? That's substance. Which brings me to Gordon Lightfoot. So he's doing an interview, and they tried to get him kind of go that route of talking bad and being talking about a fellow Canadian musician, Justin Bieber. Obviously, Justin Bieber's not going to be your cup of tea.
No.
But is there talent there?
There has to be somewhere.
Exactly.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I can't tell you where. The engineering for sure.
Yeah.
Production, all that. Yeah, definitely.
But he still sings it. He still, and I'm sure he has his, but... they try to get Gordon. They try to get Gordon Lightfoot to talk ill of Justin Bieber, but Gordon Lightfoot, just the classy guy that he was, he did not take the bait, and he kind of gave the response he did. There's talent in anything.
Yeah.
If you're doing a thing, there's talent there. So just when Gordon Lightfoot died, to me, I think music lost one of the better guys in the music industry.
Well, going back to what you were saying earlier a little bit, like you will find anything in every if you look. So say if you really hate a musician or whatever, say, oh, for example, Nickelback earlier. You have no real reason to hate them, but when you see that name, you hate them. You will always find anything and everything until you're proven. So, yeah, I don't know a damn thing about Justin Bieber, but if you actually showed me a song from him that I can decipher, I'm like, oh, there's some good talent here. I will gain some respect for him.
I'm gonna play 2 songs for you later.
Oh God, no. But yeah, you know what I'm
See, but that's the thing. But here's the thing: we grew up. So my senior year of high school, people are going to start putting the pieces together and figure out who I am now. My senior year of high school was when NSYNC came out, Backstreet Boys, Britney Spears, LFO, Summer Girls got it going on. Steal your honey like I stole your bike. The great Larry Berger Z33.
Somebody stole my bike.
Inside jokes. The funny thing about inside jokes is nothing's funnier than when you have an inside joke and you talk about it around somebody and they laugh because they just want to be part of it.
Yeah.
It's like sometimes when I'm watching the Rockin' New Year special and it's like a band and like there's no way that everybody in the music like in the audience knows the words of the song, but everybody's singing along. You don't know the fucking words. It's not adding up. The alcohol's fucked this podcast up.
Yeah,
we're gonna get back on track. We are getting back on track right now. So let me ask you this.
Yes,
we're getting back to a little bit serious here. What is that one album? Because when I was a kid, we were able to buy single tapes and then single CDs. So I used to go buy a single and it would have a B-side on it, like with a B-side. I remember buying Metallica's, I think Enter Sandman. The B-side was a cover of Queen's Stone Cold Crazy.
Okay. Was that a Black Album?
Yeah.
I think Black Album, yeah.
What's the one album that you can listen to front to back, you never hit the skip button or reposition the needle?
At least at that time period, when I first started guitar and first really started getting into music, was Led Zeppelin's first album. Zeppelin 1, whatever you want to call it.
What was some of the songs on that one?
Babe, I'm Gonna Leave You. Come on. That one song alone should tell you everything. You're going to have to edit that out.
I got you.
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm not thinking right now.
But I can edit that. Okay. To me, the one album that I can just... And it's funny thing is the band's probably not in my top 10 bands, but the Afghan Wigs. You familiar with the Afghan Wigs at all?
No, I can't name a song.
So if the Afghan Wigs came out now in the way that the industry's working, MTV's really not a thing, they probably wouldn't get out big. But MTV was like a band because they would have shows on like 120 minutes with Matt Pinfield where they'd play 102 hours of alternative music videos. And then from there, you go get Morning Play or whatever. But the Afghan Wigs' Black Love album, to me, is the one album I could just listen to from start to finish. And I don't skip a song. But is it my favorite album? Absolutely not.
Yeah.
But every song, maybe in my eyes, one hits on it, but it's just a collection of solid music.
That's how I feel about Zeppelin 1. Like, I will never go back to that album, but when I was a kid, that was it. And I respect that album. I still love it, but it's very finite. Like, right now, my favorite album is a band nobody's ever heard of, And then next week, it'll be the same thing. But it all stems back to that Zeppelin 1 album. And then Wish You Were Here, Pink Floyd, of course, and Dirty Deeds by AC/DC.
Did you ever get into Steely Dan?
Steely Dan's cool.
So my understanding is when I read a lot about Steely Dan, people like to use the term that they were like a studio band.
They were, yeah.
Like what do people mean by a studio band? They obviously toured. They played live, but their sound was like pretty hard to duplicate for the live sound. Is that what that means?
Pretty much. I mean, there's no original members except for I can't remember their names in Steely Dan, but there's 2 guys that pretty much it's more of an orchestra.
Like what? Like
they
first time
orchestrate these other session musicians to play these songs.
The first time I heard Steely Dan, I thought I was about to see a porn movie.
It was 89, late 80s. It had to have been.
No, but I like Steely Dan. Like Reeling in the Years, to me, that guitar riff.
Oh yeah.
There's a few guitar riffs that just like totally like grab you in.
Yeah, ironically, you mentioning Reeling in the Years, that is Jimmy Page's favorite guitar solo ever written from Zeppelin. His favorite guitar solo ever written was Reeling in the Years, Steely Dan.
No shit.
And Jimmy Page was him and Angus Young were the 2 guys that got me.
Wow.
Yeah. There you go.
So I would say there's two guitar riffs that like totally captivate me. Is Reeling in the Years and the guitar for Dire Straits.
Money for Nothing.
Money for Nothing. Yes.
That's a badass song. Very hard to play.
Can you play it?
I could fake it, but I can't play it.
So since you made it known that Zeppelin's where you're at with this, and that's your all-time possibly album that you just can play from front to back.
Yeah, Zeppelin 1. At least when I first started, yeah.
To me, my dad always told me growing up, he was a sound guy. And he did sound for a cover band. And he always said to me, don't knock cover bands, because one of the hardest things to do is be a good cover band. Because people already have in their mind what the song's supposed to sound like. So it's kind of hard to like duplicate that sound to people's expectations. But we've talked about, and you told me, like one of your favorite covers of all time was
Train. They covered Zeppelin 2, second Zeppelin album.
So let me ask you this. Train is now, I guess, down to just the original, the singer, Pat Monahan. He's the only original member. So is it still Train? Is that still Train?
Whoever wants to carry on the legacy of Train, I guess.
I mean,
where they are now, that is Train.
I read an interview with the guitarist, and he said, unfortunately, I've been with this band since the inception. I'm the one that used to kind of do all our booking early on, but Pat wanted to be Train, so guess what, Pat? Train's yours now. And it's kind of sad to see that happen. Like, you see that a lot with bands, just a lot of infighting or whatever, and egos or whatever. And it's just the nature of the beast with the music. I mean, money changes people.
It definitely does.
What's your true thoughts on cover song?
Make them your own. Have fun while doing it,
Luke Combs. I had a list of like 50 songs I always thought were untouchable. Yeah, one of my favorite songs of all times was obviously on that list was Tracy Chapman's Fast Car. And it was covered by Luke Combs, and it went huge. And I gained respect for Luke Combs with that because he always made sure it was known who wrote that song and gave Tracy Chapman her flowers that she may never really gotten before. And as you said, made it his own, but he also kind of kept it original. And just kind of, obviously he was a fan of hers. So I guess in that retrospect, yeah, it's I don't know. One of my favorite covers of all time is no doubts It's My Life. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that version.
Yeah. Not going to tell you I'm a fan of it, but
I feel like they took a depressing song, upbeat a little bit, and made it their own.
Yeah. Well, you could say the same thing even with original stuff like Blind Melon, No Rain. Like, it's a very upbeat song, very positive song, very popular song, but it's a very dark song.
I know she put the emphasis on pop.
Yeah, popular.
Because it was top 40. That song went top 40.
Oh, it had to have been top 20 at one, but again, what I was just saying, it's a very upbeat song.
So when people talk about cover songs, some people are a fan of it, some people aren't. And then I always kind of play the part that, like, I'm not a huge cover song person. And then I'm reminded, one of my favorite bands of all time, the Black Crowes, they broke in mainstream doing a cover of Otis Redding's Hard to Handle.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guarantee you, I know they're...
If that song never went, would the Crowes have made it big?
I doubt it, because even to this day, a couple decades later, they are known for that song. I've covered that song. No other Black Crow songs have I ever covered.
So you covered a cover. So you covered the Black Crowes covering Otis Redding. Because they really made that song their own.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound anything like the version of Otis Redding.
Or you could even go along the lines of Train Kept a Rollin'. I'm sure you've heard of that song. Train Kept a Rollin' all night long. Yeah. So Aerosmith made that song very popular.
Okay.
Motorhead made... God damn it. Motorhead made that song popular. I don't care. I'm drinking. I'm tired. And Led Zeppelin, their very first time jamming together as a band, as a 4-piece band. Before they wrote anything, their very first song that they've ever played was Train Kept a Rollin'. Who was this guy, real quick? His name was Tiny Bradshaw. He was born in Youngstown, and he wrote that song. Nobody cared about that song. This was probably early 50s.
Okay.
But nobody cared about that song, really. Like, it wasn't that big. But you had these big bands, Aerosmith, Zeppelin, Motorhead, these bands playing this song, but they made it their own. So whenever you hear Train Kept a Rollin', everybody will probably think of Aerosmith. they did a killer version. I mean, recorded and live multiple times. Great version of that song, Train Kept It Rolling. But the guy was actually born in Youngstown. He went to, I believe, Chicago and a couple other major cities in the Midwest, but never made a big statement in his name. And yet here are all these big, huge, the biggest bands on earth covering that one song. And it all sounds like their own. So where do you go with that?
Well, so I'm going to tell you something, a story about a cover song that may not have been a song that's really known. I went to go see a 90s alternative band called Better Than Ezra. Are you familiar with them at all? They had a hit song called Good, In the Blood. They had a nice, they were one of those 90s MTV bands.
Okay.
Their music video was on all the time, at least every hour there for a while. And we went and saw them play a concert. It was actually a free concert that they did on Allegheny. I think they call it the Arts on Allegheny right outside of Pittsburgh. And it was a nice concert. And the singer just, I don't think they had a set list. They kind of just played their songs and started doing covers, and they just kind of did their thing. And it was funny because he said, this is a free concert. And we're going way above beyond free. We're getting paid. But this is free for you. But we're getting paid. But he said,
right there.
He did a song and he talked about it like the term deep tracks. You know, there's a station on Sirius XM, deep tracks, and they don't play hits. They play B-sides, you know, some songs. And he talked about sometimes you write a song, you forget about it. You know, it's on your first or second album, buried, you know, track 9. It's track 9 on an album. You don't think about that song ever again. And then one day your agent calls and he says, Taylor Swift wants to talk to you. And you answer this call and it's for a Tsunami Relief, you know, album. And Taylor Swift says, hey, I wanna cover that song. And he said, oh son, you think ching ching, Taylor Swift's gonna cover all my songs? Oh, and then you realize it's for charity. So, but he said, man, just it's wild that you write, you record this song, gets buried on your album, and the biggest musician on the planet Earth right now wants to cover that song. And Taylor Swift might not be everybody's cup of tea, but there's no denying her popularity.
Right.
No denying the voice that she has for so many young teenage girls and girls out there. And if you ever, one thing I admire for, and she does a lot of stuff behind the scenes for her touring staff, for the cities that she goes to. I mean, seriously, could you imagine being Taylor Swift? You can't go eat at a restaurant without being recognized. Like, you cannot live your life like a normal person, but it does seem like she tries. But a guy like you, let me ask you this.
Okay.
How many times do you hear, you know, the band with the guy with the hair?
Fairly often, ironically, but only within Youngstown. Only within Youngstown.
So your hair hasn't traveled with outside city limits yet?
No, I mean, places we played like Cleveland, Akron, whatever. But like, I'm not famous, but everybody knows me in Youngstown.
Is this beard new?
My beard?
Have you always had that beard?
I've always had this beard. What are you talking about?
Because I'm saying here, the way I got this set up is we're standing across.
So you only see this. Okay, yeah, I shave my sides.
Okay.
Side cheeks.
Okay.
Because
you kind of look like right now the little rascal's trying to get a bank loan.
Yeah.
I'm just playing. One of my favorite movie scenes of all time is when they put on the fake beard and they go 3 high, put on the trench jacket, and try to go get a bank loan. Speaking of which, so cinema. That's another thing that's changed in movies.
All right, yeah.
Is there used to be a time where a whole, what would you call that, movie soundtrack was written specifically for that movie.
Yes, on vinyl back in the day. They would create the music itself as itself, not just for the movie. So, like, if you go into record shops or anything like that, you will find, like, soundtrack record for this or that, but that was, like, kind of their intent, you know?
Yeah.
But back then, before the internet, it was like, I remember that movie. Here's the soundtrack for that. Let me buy that record for that movie. So that was just kind of a whole way to kind of sell each other, you know, hey, sell this record, sell this movie, whatever. just make whoever is in charge money. Kind of works the same kind of way today, but
now,
a lot
like,
more
musicians
digital.
aren't.
Yeah, not one-on-one.
Yeah, 80s had some killer soundtracks. I mean, the 80s were kind of known for their movie soundtracks and selling those albums as soundtracks.
Yeah.
And one of the big questions I like to always pose on my personal social media is, what was the better movie soundtrack, Dirty Dancing or Pretty Woman?
Play me the music, because I never watched either one.
You never seen either movie?
Nope.
Did you ever see the movie Goonies?
No.
No, honestly, my fiance, she says she's never seen the movie Goonies, and she says she's made it this far in life not seeing the movie that she's just not going to watch it. So she's content never seeing the movie Goonies.
Me as well. Me as well.
But that was another, like, sometimes I'll just hear a song like that was from the movie Goonies, like Cyndi Lauper created movie.
That's the only thing I know about it.
Sloth.
That's Sloth.
Rocky Road. I'm not editing that out, by the way.
No, keep that in.
Yeah, it's fun. No, but it's funny how we've seen the music industry move. I actually know of somebody who got signed to Atlantic Records. They were forced to change their name. He was forced to change his last name. He was forced to lie about his age. Pretty much told them to lose their drummer, who was just a normal looking guy, and brought in a studio drummer who had blonde spiked hair. This would have been year 2000, 2001, 2002. Completely dressed them up for their album shoot. Told them to keep the clothes for their tour. And they pretty much pushed the wrong singles.
I've heard this before.
True story. It kind of makes me believe, do these, what would you call them, pencil pushers behind a desk? Do they really know what sells? I mean, how many times have you heard of a band you say, man, it took them 3 times to get the right single out there? Which is what, honestly, I played Long Day for you, and I said that was the first single brought onto the album for Matchbox 20's first album. So I guess, you could say that was an easy miss. Did they drop the ball not putting Push out there first? I mean, when if they wanted to put Push out there, when they would have went in our direction, would Matchbox at 20 have taken off like they did? And Rob Thomas has written so many hit songs.
I believe that.
It's a tough question.
Yeah. I mean, I could go, especially with me not being involved with like that corporal music.
Luckily.
And I will never
have to deal with that.
Yeah, no. I would rather work this bullshit job I'm doing right now and having a passion on the weekend than having to sell my soul and my heart to something that I have worked so hard for just for somebody else to tell me what to do with that instrument.
Have you guys recorded yet, your band, your new band?
Kind of, yes.
Just on your own?
Kind of, yeah.
So if you guys were to record, there would really be no need. Now, not saying that you wouldn't, but technically speaking, you guys could probably do it on your own.
Yeah, there's no direction with the band. It's just, hey, here's the songs that we want to play.
Yeah.
Play it, make sure everything sounds good, and we're good to go.
Realistically, these days, all you need is a laptop, a couple microphones, and possibly some splitters or whatever, and you can...
You got to have good ears, though, Because,
so possibly...
real quick, my previous drummer,
okay,
we got a new drummer. Yeah, we're all on good terms. Everybody forget about it. He's just not a drummer at heart, and that's okay.
We talked about that, yeah.
Yes, nothing but respect for him. I love him. But he told us during recording, hey, we got to make sure that these recordings are great, perfect, whatever. Go through everything, because shows come and go, but albums last forever. I was like, okay, yeah, you're right. It sounds good to me, but I trust you guys more than I do because this is my first time recording with musicians and actually working with each other. But yeah, you're right, because now I've listened to the demo, which I really wanted to be out there for the public. A couple months later on, I'm like, yeah, they're right. All these guys are right. Everything is very finite, but it's not perfect. And to be able to make an album like perfect to you, the majority of people will hate it. That's kind of our goal. Everybody's going to hate it. But the very few sprinkles of people that are going to really jump onto that album are going to love it. And you want it to be perfect for them. So that's my goal for those people. Anyway, Brian, I didn't mean to...
No, that's good stuff.
But yeah, I mean,
but
go on.
Realistically, it wouldn't be too hard now to build a home studio. But
No, yeah.
and it's affordable now.
Yeah.
It's affordable now.
It's
But
affordable.
on the flip side, that's like saying everybody who has a camera now is a photographer.
Yep.
So yeah, you can afford the goods to do this stuff, but it doesn't mean you're necessarily a trained professional. And so just like these people, a lot of these people there's recording schools out there and teach you techniques and, as you said, to have the ear for it, to say, you know what, this is what we need. This is what we got to tweak. Maybe add an echo here. You know what, I want you to double that track. I want you to double that vocal. We're going to follow in with these vocals or whatever. Just what would you call that? Overdubbing or adding different tracks, Even though you can do it, doesn't necessarily mean that's the route you'll take.
Right. And usually the way that you can take it is the right way, but that it's not for you as a musician. If a musician wants to take it their way, they're taking it their way, and that is the right way for them. But to gain publicity, to gain followers nowadays, rather than record sales, maybe 20 years ago, that is the way to do it. It's just word of mouth. Be a good person. Play shows, play local shows. Do what you got to do as a human and show your craft to those who are willing to come out and support you, rather than try and get the followers, trying to get all the Instagram likes and all that, trying to get 20 years ago on MTV instead of going on that. Think about the people that built you here. They literally built you to who you are, and they've supported you all this. Why turn your back on them?
We talk about those who support you and all the elements that go into helping bands become successful, get out there. Locally, we have a music venue called Westside Bull.
My second home.
What would the Youngstown music scene be without Westside Bull? Would it be practically non-existent?
It would definitely not be where it is today. But, if you look back 25 years ago, there was a place called the Nyabingi.
I remember that Nyabingi, yes.
Yeah, and they closed down in, I believe, 2007.
Okay. I saw a few shows there.
Yeah, that was before my time. But I wish I got to see shows. That building is still standing there to this day, by the way.
Really?
It's literally like 3 blocks from where I live.
We're going to drive past it. We're going to drive past it later.
And
if I recall, the bar area, you walked in the front door, there was a bar right onto the left, probably about 10 bar stools, and not much to it, like, going to the right side, there had been a wall. So realistically, you're probably looking at like 25 foot, like wide rectangle, and 25 by like 50 feet kind of deal, 60 feet, maybe not big at all. And then all of a sudden there was just this flight of steps and went downstairs into a music hall that probably like maybe 8 times the size of this basement we're recording in here. Yeah. Not much to it. If that, maybe just 4 times.
I've watched videos, yeah.
There wasn't much to that place.
Just pack them all down here right now, It's pretty much what you got.
I mean, I don't know if the fire marshal just turned a blind eye to it.
Hey, they had bigger fish to fry, let me tell you. They're not worried about a whole bunch of metalheads going down there for a concert.
Is there anything in that building now, or is it just standing vacant?
Last I know, it's vacant, yeah.
Man.
But it's still standing. And that side of town, everybody's bulldozing over everything.
I wonder if it's habitable.
And with the right money. And
yeah. Seriously, though, a place like Westside Bull, though.
They picked up where the Nyabingi left off. And
took it to the next level.
Yeah, and they're running with that torch. I mean, like what they're doing to underground music. I'm incredibly grateful that I live so close to it, that it is literally in my backyard. I've become family with these people. I've played there a million times, whatever project I'm in. But knowing that my favorite music on earth, period, my favorite bands have played on the same stage and yet I know the owners, I've known the bands, whatever. Like, we have that kind of very intimate moment where we're like, hey, I look up to you, you look up to me, we're playing here. What the hell is this? That is the real question right there. Like, we look up to each other in ways that, like, we inspire each other to create music. And yet here we are. It's just, hey, yeah, I'm just a regular guy. I'm not popular. I'm not famous. I'm not making a living off of this. But you have that kind of feeling right there. It's unreal. This is why I keep doing what I do.
I mean, there could be no better feeling than after a show and that somebody comes up to you and say, hey man, Great
Yeah,
set.
great set. Yeah, always great,
Great
set. Good set. Yeah, thank you, buddy. Yeah, have a good one. I'm packing up. It's usually how it goes.
That's got to be an awesome feeling.
It is a great feeling. Whenever somebody just comes up while I'm lugging out a big, heavy amp and guitars and all that, and somebody comes up, great set. I got sweat in my eyes.
It gets hot up on those stages, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Those lights are no joke.
Mm-hmm. Especially for like what we're doing, you know, everybody's moving around like crazy, running around like chickens with their heads cut off. But you know, I mean, it's fun. You know, it's very fun. But it's all about that feeling. You know, like oh well, you know, say 2 sets later, you know, some other band is up and
no stage fright
with enough alcohol, I'm good.
What's it take to get that fine line to feeling good and being incoherent to playing? So you're like Keith Moon from the Who, and or did you have stage
5
fright?
shots of Jack,
and you're good to go.
That is my.
That's your medium.
Yeah, 5 shots of Jack, maybe 6 beers. Depends on the time of day, you know. Being's maybe nocturnal, but yeah, sure.
10 years from now. 10 years from now, where do you see yourself musically, or where do you want to be musically?
I see myself 6 feet in the ground, but musically,
from all the Jack.
Musically, I genuinely don't see myself going anywhere.
You're not 28 yet, right? So you don't want to join the 28 club, do you?
27 club.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Fuck.
27 club. Janis Joplin, Jim Morrison,
Jimi Hendrix.
Guys. Jimi Hendrix, of course.
Was Kurt Cobain on that?
Kurt Cobain, yes.
Anybody else?
Robert Johnson, the blues guy from the early 20s. I don't see myself.
Best musician to come out of your home city, Youngstown. Phil Keaggy. Some
things are surfacing, man. I'm telling you. Depends on what you. It all depends on what you define as perfect, because that is perfect for you. So, say if Phil Keaggy, incredible guitar player, incredible glass harp guitarist. I have a couple of their records. They're awesome. Physical, vinyl, whatever you want to. I don't care. Awesome musician. But when stuff resurfaces, or surfaces, period. So Bull Run. You never heard of Bull Run. They're from 1969 to about 72, 73. They were a band back then, you know, hard rock, 3-piece hard rock band.
A 3-piece
from
like
Youngstown.
Rush.
Yeah. The front man was a drummer. He was a vocalist.
No shit.
Yeah.
That's hard to fucking do.
Yeah. And again, keep in mind, early 70s. Zeppelin just came out. Sabbath just came out. Nothing gets heavier than those two. These guys come out, 3-piece, recording in a freaking basement, and doing some recording in a garage.
No, it kind of sounds familiar to me right here.
Yeah. Yeah. But at that time period.
Right.
Keep that in mind.
Probably a 4-track recorder.
If they were lucky. And so, you know, they were doing their thing, whatever. 50 years goes by, and somebody at Peppermint Studios is like, hey, you know, what is this? Oh, it's a recording of some sort. You know, Bull Run, whatever. Play it. Hooked. Immediately. Hey, we got to get this out there. We got to get people to know about this freaking record because of how innovative it was. Now, I know you don't know what I'm talking about, but again, a 3-piece heavy band, heavy hard rock, whatever, heavy psych band. That one EP, Kim Connor, the daughter of the frontman Jim Connor, helped create into what it is now. Literally only like 3 years ago. But they've like made it to what the band should have been. But imagine, if you will, like you create this kind of music. I'll show it to you later. But imagine if you try and create this kind of music where you're like, oh, you're doing your thing. You think this is the next step in the direction, which it was. Take it to the next edge. How heavy can you get? How loud and slow and crazy? They did that. But it went unsung for 50s until just recently. At a random studio that I'm friends with, the south side of Youngstown. You know? Like, it is just crazy. And this stuff is always surfacing constantly.
some of the members passed since.
I believe they're all gone.
So it's kind of a shame that they haven't been around to see their music get this.
Right. That. Oh man, this actually kind of leads me to more of a.
It's like Pete Rose is probably going. It's like Pete Rose is going to get in the Hall of Fame and not be alive to see it happen. He's the greatest ball player of all fucking time.
I went to that Record People Day thing at Westside. It was just a whole vendor thing full of a whole bunch of guys selling records, or whatever. And I went up to this one record stand right here, and I was like, "Oh, it's Peppermint." Yeah, of course I have everything here. And I see this lady right behind the counter. And I see, Bull Run, whatever, all the local stuff, Rat Race, awesome. And I was like, hey, do you know, like, I'm friends with the people that run this place and all that, but, like, you're the one working here. Do you know if you guys are making t-shirts of this record by any chance? And her eyes got big and kind of watery, and she was like, no way. I was like, well, what? She was like, I am the daughter of Jim. Nerding out. I'm like, he was the front man of this band, So we're just talking the whole. She ended up sending me the shirt. She sent me a really, really cool card, Christmas card, just a couple days ago. Knowing, like, seeing her eyes, she is just so content and happy knowing that a young guy like me, keep in mind, she's probably in her 50s,
Yeah.
The daughter of the frontman of this band from the late 60s, very early 70s, creating heavy metal. Like, they created metal, and nobody knows that. And I'm looking at her in the eyes, and she's like, not tearing up, but like, you could see
you
emotion.
Made her day.
You could see emotion, and like, she's like, this young guy. I'm like, this is what I live for. What are you talking about? Like, I love this stuff. So,
do you hope one day that maybe your music touches somebody like that?
I hope so, but I don't see it.
Why not?
I don't know where the future is, and I don't have it in my hands, but I'm willing to carry it along from our fellows in the past.
Well, I'll tell you what the future is for me. Is editing the fuck out of this podcast and putting out something. I think we recorded a really good podcast today. I mean, everybody's got a passion. And some people are too afraid to grab their passion and do it. Like, as you said, like, you might not be able to make a living off what you do, but you don't give a fuck. That's what it's all about. Like, you know what? If only 3 people listen to this podcast today, is what it is. I like getting behind a microphone. I like talking with people. I like putting my thoughts out there. And it's what I like to do. And that's why I still do it. And that's why I invested in some equipment here. And we're definitely, Evan, so my last podcast I did, we did an episode and it didn't flow nearly as good as what this did.
No, I felt very uncomfortable. Now I'm feeling too comfortable, so I don't know how good this is going to do for you, Brian.
No, this has been phenomenal. This is obviously probably going to be the last thing that I put out before the holidays. So, to those listening, I'll get this edited out before Christmas, obviously. So, definitely, Merry Christmas to everybody out there. You got anything you want to add? You got any shows coming up?
No, I don't have any shows coming up, but Merry Christmas. And, catch me at Westside Bowl. Just look for a blind guy with an afro at Westside Bowl in Youngstown. Be there.
So, for Evan, myself, until next time.
See you later.